Hello everybody and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is our end of year, I guess new year now, Games of 2022 speedruns. So we are with our second game of the day. I'll hand it over to the runner and they can introduce themselves.
Hello, I am SatoriEarth. This is the Chant. It was a game that came out early November. I personally didn't even know about it until about a month before release. Just browsing a store one day, I'm like, hey, this looks interesting. And, you know, as a Canadian, it was kind of cool that turns out it's a brand new Canadian dev. So, we're just going to get on into it, and we'll talk about the run as we get going here. Alright, so time will start when I select a new difficulty here. In 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so we're going to skip a little cinematic here. It basically just opens up, sets the tone for the game. It shows a group in the 70s performing a little bit of a strange ritual. And this lady, who appears to be pregnant, decides to abandon the ritual and run off. So we open up after skipping the cinematic to her running away. And you'll have to excuse me, I am getting over a cold, nice holiday illness. So hopefully we can make it through the entire run without coughing. But yeah, as you can see, everything's kind of gone haywire, so it just like throws you right into everything right at the start. We don't really get any explanation as to what's happening, why this is happening, but we'll get some build up for that shortly. So right now, it's just pure chaos. Pure chaos. Alright, so we'll skip a few cutscenes here, and we'll get a nice little side effect from skipping these cutscenes. Just a few frames of really wild hair from our friend Kim here. So right after this next one. Now, Kim's hair just goes insane. Don't know why, but when you skip all the cutscenes, just amusing.
It'll be good for you.
Alright, so we open up on present times. After all that, we skipped again multiple cutscenes. Our character here, Jess, is going for a run. She sees a body in the river, kind of freaks her out. It's not actually there. She just kind of sees a body in the river. Freaks her out, and she calls her friend Kim, and she's like, you know what, I'm going to take her up on her offer of joining her in this group at this retreat that supposedly has been really helpful to her little spiritual retreat. So we've met up with her. There's not a lot of tech to the run. It's a very friendly beginner's run, so if any of you are out there looking for a new run, we could use some more runners for this game. It's a very, very low barrier of entry for this run. It's basically just optimal pathing, a few combat strats here and there. Combat in this game's a little clunky, a little jank, as you would expect from a, you know, survival horror-inspired game, but not in a bad way. Not at all. Like, once you get comfortable with it, it's perfectly fine, and if you played much survival horrors, you learn to embrace the jank. It's kind of needed for that genre.
Here are so energizing.
So we're just going to get a few little tutorials here. We get a few different options as to dialogue options to pick. They don't really have too much effect on the game. What they do is give us a little bit of XP, but in the speedrun, XP is not really going to matter to us. We're not going to do any upgrades or anything like that, so we're just going to go for whatever the fastest dialogue option is, which happens to be the body response pretty much every single time. There's only a couple spots where that's an exception.
Relax. What's wrong?
Yeah, so game's gonna tutorialize us a little mechanic here on meditation, where you can use up your spirit stat to replenish your mind stat. This will be the only time in the entire run that we're gonna make use of it, because it's a forced tutorial. So as soon as we're full on mind, we're able to start moving again.
This wasn't such a silly idea. We better get back to the retreat before sundown.
So once we're full in mind, we're able to start moving again with Kim, and she's going to take us through a few more tutorials.
Both of us. I think we both need
So upcoming, we're just going to wait at a little bit of Sage, where she's going to
Yes, she was my sister, but it wasn't my
tell us to
fault.
pick it up, because she's going to show us some more stuff to do with that,
enjoy the hike.
which is going to be part of our combat mechanics. So in this game, we do not get any weapons,
Goes all over this island.
because, you know, it's
I'm going to show you
cosmic
what
horror and
this
all
island is filled
cult
with
spiritual
natural wonders.
based.
Let's get going.
So our weapons are going to be things like fire oil and sage sticks and a witch stick.
Kim, doesn't that hurt?
So,
Those are forbidden.
which ends up making it very melee based, because you're basically just whipping around a smudge stick at all the enemies.
Just stay
So,
calm.
nice clean path up here. Normally, you can tell the game tried to snap my camera on me. The game's going to try to keep you there.
Some twine.
It does for most conversations in the game, but this one we can actually get past it and actually walk all the way up for a little bit of a time save. No chance. I mean, there is some chanting in the game, but unfortunately it's in a cinematic, and we're not going to see that.
The twine around the sage leaves.
Alright, so the game tutorializes us on crafting our quote-unquote weapons, and also using it in combat by getting rid of these swarms of flies, because Jess really does not like flies. And that moved away from me.
Don't put that out yet.
And a little bit of the backstory as to why she doesn't really like flies is to do with her...
Tyler's family used to run a commune.
she's here because of trauma in her past. Both
island.
her and her friend Kim here, when they were teenage girls, were at the beach with Jess's younger sister, and
Kim, I can't see shit in here.
they jokingly dismissed her and told her, like, there's treasure in the bottom of the lake and that. And then they were sat on the beach listening to music on their headphones and suntanning, and Jess's younger sister took that seriously and went to go try to find the treasure and drowned.
Thanks for leaving me in there.
Oh, come on.
Are we almost there? I'm getting kind of hungry.
It's just
So,
a bit. Wait until you try
though
Maya's cooking.
realistically the timeline probably wouldn't have been long enough for the body to, like, have flies around it,
Here we are.
there's a whole thing with her really not liking flies as part of that trauma.
For once, Kim.
And her sister will, later on in the game,
Stories.
manifest as a swarm of flies.
Let me introduce you to the others. Everyone here is so welcoming.
It's just horrifying, regardless of whether or not you like flies.
Yeah, no doubt. Alright, and there's... Oh, I didn't get the camera to spun fast enough. But two of the characters just, like, stand there, not quite T-posing, but they just stand there on this side when you come down here really fast.
Everyone here
Normally
is
the cutscene will
friendly.
trigger a little earlier, but because we get a little ahead of the dialogue, you can actually just see, like, Sunny and Maya just standing there doing nothing, perfectly still. Alright, so the game gives us a little bit of a slow open. We're just gonna go around, meet everyone in the camp. So we meet all the characters here, well, all the present timeline characters. So we have a couple little conversations. And this is Sunny. He's comes from a rich family. He was into trying to start, like, you know, music festivals and stuff like that. But his dad and brother are much more business orientated and in control of all the money, and kind of dismissed him and cut funding on him. And so now he's into doing this, and he's trying to get them to fund this as well. we're gonna quickly go off to the side, pick up a few ingredients here. When we meet Maya, she's gonna tell us that she needs a bunch of ingredients for tonight's tea for the ceremony. We're gonna get ahead of that and collect all this. This is the game's way of teaching us about lavender, which is what we restore mind with. Spirit caps, which very obviously restores spirit stat, and ginger, which restores our body/health stat. Oh, I want 2 of those.
I better grab another.
And get rid of this little swarm of flies and grab a ginger. So we need to get 1 of each for Maya, just as a fetch quest to get used to those collectible consumables. I also grabbed 1 extra spirit just so I have a good amount of spirit to use for some skills later on. I can't really collect more than that. You can collect up to 2 max, but after the game's opening cinematic, it actually removes everything out of your inventory. So I just collect the second one and use it to heal up her spirit stat immediately, since we're forced to drain it for the meditation tutorial.
Oh, hey. We were just discussing today.
So here we got
Are you ready for
Hannah,
change?
who's just a little bit
Please come.
kind of a pick-me. She very much seeks validation. She's latched onto the leader, Tyler, who that lady in the intro was pregnant with. So that was his mother running from the original group. And Tyler has returned to this island, not really aware of what his grandparents and mother were doing here fully, but, just kind of wanting to do his own spiritual retreat here.
What you were looking for. Perfect.
And now we got Maya. So,
Wow.
there we go. We already collected all that, so we didn't have to do that. Drop it off on the table for her.
I work in biomedicine. I used to spend a lot of time doing field work. But
Again,
lately, it's boring desk
just go through our audio quickly.
I see. Don't they do animal testing? Doesn't that seem wrong?
It is wrong, but my division won't listen to me.
If people
We find out that
listen,
Jess used to work in
maybe you're in
biomedicine.
the wrong place. There are many other types.
Not
of
really
medicine.
relevant, but,
I'll
a
think
little
on
bit of
that.
backstory on her.
I really should get back to Kim.
And we'll get into Maya's backstory a little later on because, we have a full chapter where we really get a lot of dialogue that's going to show that anyway.
Over here.
But that was Maya. And we go back to Kim to start
Yes. Tyler left some gifts inside for you.
into the full night. So we start tonight's ritual. Everyone drinks tea,
What did happen?
and things go absolutely insane, which we, of course, skip in the cutscene. But basically, she trips balls.
is
There's no better way to say it, but she goes on a little trip.
I've gotta find
So Kim
Why the hell
ends up
did you do
freaking out, yells at Jess to stop blaming her, and runs off. Jess just can't handle it. She's too far gone. She gets up and she just basically collapses and passes out. She wakes up, everyone's gone, so now we have to go find Kim. And we can obviously hear her screaming, still losing it. Tyler's gone off after her as well. And so we're gonna go try to find her. The game's gonna show us a little bit here of the gloom. We got to see this in the intro, but this is our first time experiencing it with our main character here. So the gloom is basically an otherworldly spirit world almost that runs in parallel to ours everywhere, kind of seeping in as a result of, the ritual and the circle being the ritual being interrupted by someone leaving the circle. So it's spilling over. There we go. Jess freaks out. She sees a fly swarm manifestation of her dead sister. And we get our first little introduction to the panic attack mechanic. So during the panic attack was when your mine's fully depleted. Jess will run a little bit faster. Unfortunately, we're not able to exploit that much in the run because inducing a panic attack is pretty much always going to take longer than we would actually save time by moving faster from it. Rather unfortunate. But we're also not going to be able to perform any actual attacks if we're in a panic attack state, as well as it makes us more susceptible to certain attacks from the enemies.
Running.
So there we're basically safe. It's a bit of a tutorial, but those enemies have certain attacks that they can do, and when you're in a panic attack, it's going to be a one-hit kill. So we get out of her first experience with the gloom. Not sure what to make of it. We got a little bit of an example of the mind attacks, but we get another one here. They're just little attacks that kind of stun her, and they don't really do much as long as you clear them immediately. And here's Tyler.
From me. Oh, it's you.
And he's going to say what's probably the most iconic line in the game.
Okay. She broke the circle.
After you drugged us?
I
Didn't drug you. That tea is 100% organic.
Everything is going wrong.
Don't know why. It's just so silly. It's amazing.
What should I do?
Just get out of my way.
Because, you know, apparently no drugs can be organic or something. That's a great defense, Tyler. Great defense. The tea was 100% organic.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It checks out, right?
Alright, so we dismiss Tyler because he's of no use. He's just in his own head about everything. A little bit of his ego. So we're going to go on and get Kim. So we get introduced to one of the enemy types, and it's going to do this to me. Unfortunately, when it glows like that, I can't attack. So it's just a little bit of an RNG, not a major time loss, but you know, it slows you down slightly. Nice little dodge past our first experience with the cultist. But on the wall there, that giant flower, it's called a manticore, basically spawns a bunch of more gloom creatures and that. The big ones like that are on walls, once you defeat them, tend to clear out a pocket of the gloom, which can be useful, especially in a casual playthrough where, you know, gloom is draining your mind stat all the time and forcing you into panic attacks because you don't know where you're going. So there's Kim. She was enjoying some pomegranates, it looked like. Making quite a mess doing it, though. I think she's fine, though. She just didn't really like us disturbing her eating those pomegranates, which is rather unfortunate because, I know, I like pomegranates. I don't know about you guys. I'm hoping she'll save us some. So we're just gonna
share.
We're just gonna grab a few items here. Alright. So a couple more cultists here. Up here there is a note that does tell us a little bit about the cultists. Later on in the game, you basically can kind of piece together that the cultists appear to be corrupted members of the original cult. At least the best I put together from all the documents in the game. But there's 4 different types of general cultists. They all wear a different animal head. So there's the ram, there's a bear, there's a horse, and which one am I missing right now? Oh, a deer. There's a deer, and they all have like slightly different behaviors and attacks.
What is happening in my brain?
Grabbing a few more items, and you know, typical survival horror thing. You know, we got to collect a bunch of symbols and that to craft a key, you know, to open doors. In this case, because, you know, it's culty and new agey, it's all geometric patterns that we're going to do. And we're going to do that multiple times to get through some doors. So we're going to use our first spirit ability here. And this one's called Stasis. It just kind of slows everything down. Don't really need to use it here, but I kind of do just because it's going to slow down the enemies on the side a little bit, make it a little less likely that they're going to hit me and stun me and make that fight take a little longer. All right. So now we find Kim. She's upset. I think she ate all the pomegranates before we could have some.
Kim, are you okay?
No, I'm not okay.
Oh, she's not okay.
Kim, what's happening? They're inside me.
Yeah, they're inside her. She ate all the pomegranates, so we don't get to have any. All right, but she's still kind of messy from eating them, so... Oh, that's bad angle. Kim, why did you go sideways? All right, so we got some really bad luck right off the start. Oh my God, Kim, please. Kim, I know we're on GDQ, but you do not need to give me bad RNG like this. All right, so we're going to take her to each of the candles and help dry up the juice on her face. It's 100% the lore. Why is she giving me all these attacks right now? Did I choose the wrong difficulty? No, I didn't. Kim, please, cooperate with us. Alright, so now that we got her face good and dried up, we're going to take her to the mirror and show her how good of a job we did of drying her face up. Okay, apparently she had to show off her amazing skills again before I could actually get this.
I'm so sorry, Kim.
But there we go. Show her how good of a job we did. The actual lore behind that, there was a note in one of the previous rooms. When someone's been possessed by the gloom, basically, there's a little bit of a ritual you can do to break the possession, and that's basically what it surmises, is that you snuff out a bunch of ritual candles, and then you use the host's body to break a mirror.
Mind them. That's it. It's the mind.
Sonny.
So that's the actual reason we were doing it, but I like the pomegranate theory a bit better.
I have to make sure. It's my secret.
So
I
now,
mean,
Where are you going?
no, you
go ahead.
Come back.
Go right ahead.
I was gonna
There's
say,
nothing happening.
if it's the cult members telling you how to do it, I mean, maybe they're lying, so your explanation's just as good.
This prism.
Yeah, and I mean, those documents were left by the original cult, and as we saw in the intro, they were up to something, so I don't know if I could trust them.
Take my flashlight.
But yeah, we get back to camp after retrieving Kim. Obviously, she's in rough shape after all of that. And we go talk to Sonny and find out that Sonny is now losing his mind because of the gloom. And yeah, we get a little cutscene where he's looking in pretty rough shape, and he's obsessed with this idea of going to the mines to get something. It's the crystals that hold a bunch of powers.
Okay, need to get to the mine.
There's some mines on this island that they were getting those crystals from, and he figured that out, and now he's obsessed with the idea of going to the mines and getting them all for himself. So now we have to go chase him down because we need everyone and their crystals
How did he get over there?
to perform the ritual again to, fix this. We have to finish the ritual properly to close up the gloom. So anytime someone runs off like this, yeah, well, we need you because we need to fix this.
Did they all blame me? It was Jess's fault, not mine.
So we're going to get another type of stick here, a fire lash. We're not going to use that for a while, but the game does show it to us here. Wait for that guy to bust open the door for us. Again, collecting pieces for a door again. Don't slap me. Thank you.
Jess. I thought we were friends.
Alright, we're going to use stasis again here, so hopefully that creature behind us, which is a mini crawler, doesn't mess with us too bad. Thankfully it was just one slap and it didn't pounce on us, which is a long animation if it does. Because, as I said before, if you clear out the manticore, the giant flower on the wall there, the entire gloom and any gloom creatures just clears out, so... That's the only thing we needed to focus on, was getting rid of the gloom so we could get the key there. But as you heard it speak like him, when I did approach there and the game kind of did its reveal of that enemy type, they can mimic people's voices and that, so they can mess with you in the gloom. And Angie likes to try and give us hugs. Unfortunately, she wouldn't drain our mind enough. That was one strat I played around with for a while there, was letting Angie give you a hug to try and drain your mind and, you know, get that little bit of speed boost from a panic attack. But one hit's not going to drain our mind enough to have a panic attack. And it's just going to slow us down from stun animations, so...
I think you went this way.
Do a couple dodges across the log, because it's just ever so slightly faster than the slow movement speed walking across a narrow passage like that. And we got a nice little peaceful, burnt out area forest, but a nice little peaceful walk to the mines now. Generally do a little heal here, just because I can, and there's some more ginger right here. This dev is from Vancouver, BC, and if you're familiar at all with Pacific Northwest or, you know, BC in Canada, very gorgeous mountainous areas, and you can tell they took a lot of their local landscape as inspiration for the environment design. So you get some really pretty vistas throughout the game. But yeah, we catch up with Sunny in the mines, and
Sonny, you're going to get hurt.
you know, Sunny's just doing Sunny things. Because smashing fuse boxes with rocks is always a good idea. So he takes their flashlight and runs off. Kind of shoves us down here. And now we're stuck barefoot in water, playing with electrical panels. Very safe activities.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get introduced to some more enemy types here. Canker toads. So for the most part, they're not too big of a deal. We're going to try to go wide on this one, give this guy a shove, and yeah, have enough room to squeeze past without really having to deal with them. But we're going to come across the giant one right away here. And the giant one likes to give kisses and very rude about it. You know, doesn't really ask first, just goes in for it. So hopefully we can get by without too many issues. Grab this fuse. He's gonna go for a mind attack. Little unexpected, but much better than kisses because there's no major stun animation with that. Alright. So now that we've turned on all the fuses to get the final fuse to fix the one that Sunny busted up, we can finally leave the mine, because we have some light to get out of here and catch back up with
He
Sunny.
must have gone this way.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you kiss the toad, he doesn't turn into a prince or anything like that. It's just not worth it.
I feel like we got ripped off.
We really did.
Whoa. Look at this place.
So this was one of the miners' camps. And of course, Sunny's still running off on us. Locks us out, so we're just gonna go try to find a different way to catch up to him. We're also gonna get introduced to another cultist type, the horse. But we're just gonna walk right on past him.
I'll take it all. It's all
I'm
mine.
begging you, just stop!
Leave me alone.
Sonny, don't do this!
Heck,
Stop running, Sonny!
you're an imposter.
And here we get the bear, which has some attacks that can be really annoying, especially when he's gonna stay in the middle of a doorway for me. The bear has some attacks where he can full out grab you. He also has one glowing attack where you can't shove him or attack him that lasts for several seconds. He just like keeps on taking multiple swings in a row at you. So
It's right here. I can smell it. It's
Sunny's
right here. It has
enjoying
to be
a nice rabbit dinner,
Why are you here?
and he's not too happy about us disturbing him.
Sonny, this is...
I'll cut you out.
Fucking just stop running!
Don't come near me, Jess. You're possessed. You've lost control.
And he tells Jess that she's possessed and lost control. Might be projecting a little bit. Not sure.
I'm not sharing with you, Jess. It's mine, big chance. It's mine.
Maybe just a little bit.
Maybe just a little. Alright, so he's gonna run up further into the mines down this elevator. We can thankfully activate the elevator immediately. And here we're supposed to have this big arena fight with a bear, a whole bunch of rams, and that, but actually, this is just a timer while we're waiting on the elevator to come back up, so we're just going to wait it out and hopefully not take any damage. Okay, here's the long attack I was talking about. Look at him. It keeps on going. Just keeps on going. Alright, come here, buddy. I don't want you that close to the elevator right now.
That was a very long attack.
So, we can do shoves to kind of stagger them back. Just making sure we're dodging any glowing attacks. Trying to keep, you know, ourselves between them and the elevator, so no one's going to be in our way getting to the elevator. And once that back door opens, I know the elevator is right about here. So we're just going to do a couple dodges until the cinematic starts to take us down. So you do have the option to fight all the enemies there. They're not super hard to defeat, but of course this is speedrun. We don't want to spend time picking up unnecessary resources, so we're not going to spend unnecessary resources on those enemies.
I'm not sharing. I've always shared, but not this time. No one so close.
Grab some mugwort, which is going to be a crafting item for another weapon type. Alright, so Sunny's losing his mind there, and then he gets skewered through the back, right through the chest, by this guy, called the Strider, another gloom creature. And of course, you know, we're gonna go try to help him out. So we're still gonna chase after him here. We did get his crystal, though, when that happened. It went flying off of him. So now we have his crystal ability. So we just picked up a fuse. We're going to pick up a stick of dynamite as well here. And yeah, if you didn't notice, she's barefoot. Kim at the beginning of the game said that shoes are forbidden in the retreat. So everyone's doing this entire thing, running around the entire island barefoot.
That is awful.
I know, right? I mean, I've done it a bit. You can get used to it, and if you know how to walk. But for someone to do that, all this on their first night here, with like no experience running around outdoors barefoot, nah, you're gonna destroy your feet. Gonna destroy your feet. Like, this is all in one night, pretty much. This is happening. So you can hear Sunny going on. The Gloom was making promises to him and that, and he of course believed all of that. And now he's learning that maybe I shouldn't have. Alright, so we're gonna cue that, and we're gonna craft a witch stick, but grab the sage stick.
Oh, I want this to end.
Alright. Some lavender, mugwort. Gonna drop on down. And hopefully not get disturbed while we get rid of this manticore. We got one hit, slight stun, and unfortunately got a little bit of an attack in there that I didn't want to deal with, but we're good. So grab this oil, grab that witch stick. We're all queued up for the boss fight against the Strider. So the Strider's left Sunny strung up against the wall, and now we have to deal with the Strider. So I'm going to use primarily our witch stick here. The benefit to attacking with the witch stick is every hit with the witch stick helps give us a little bit of spirit energy back when fighting in Gloom. Alright, so once he does a mine attack on me, I know the phase is over, so we're going to quickly craft another there. And quickly do this. Excuse me. Because we're going to use this attack a couple times, because one hit of that and two swipes are going to get rid of these guys, which is going to queue up the second phase against the Strider, because while the Strider's against the wall there, it's completely immune. So we wait until it turns, and now it no longer has any iframes. Alright, that's it for phase 2. Collect a couple more items. And as soon as it comes off the wall here, we'll do another attack. And it should only be a few more hits as long as it doesn't bounce away from me like that. To finish off. So after that, Sunny kind of apologizes to us. He's kind of realized what the hell was actually going to go on there. But he just, like, gets pierced through the body by a bunch of crystals and dies. He was just too far gone at that point. So we have his crystal, and we're on our way back to camp. But we can't quite get to camp just yet, because the mine's collapsed, so we can't take that way back. And the gate on the other side of this camp is locked, so we need to get power for that gate. And here we're going to pick up a child's note. Don't touch Daddy's crystals. Don't touch Daddy's crystals. And I also forgot to queue up this. Stasis! Hopefully we can still do this without too much hassle. There we go. Forgot to queue up the stasis there. So we almost got an attack from the mimic crawler there. So we just picked up a lever to turn on the windmill, I guess, there for the generator. But it's missing a gear, which is in here behind this one. So. Alright, we'll grab that. Get ourselves a free little sage stick here. And now we're going to climb up and fix that so we can actually make our way back to camp.
This is generator power. Maybe I can get it to work.
Yeah. So, you know, standard survival horror things, you know, just find components and fix shit to be able to progress.
It slides right in great. That worked.
Alright. Now that's on. The game's gonna show it to us. Hey, the generator's working. The electric lock on that door can be disengaged now. And here's another spot where we're gonna hope we just don't get too bad of RNG. Like, there's nothing bad here that can happen, but, you know, these guys can't do some damage on us or stagger us to slow us down, so.
I can get out this way.
There are times where all the bear, the horse, and Angie are all in your way getting back to the door, so.
Tyler's prismatic science.
The one nice thing about the Gloom, though, is there's these little portals where we can fast travel across the island. So. We get to take a nice quick path back to camp. We're right back where we picked up all the ingredients for Maya earlier in the game. Right beside the camp, so. So I can't actually remember what the reason is we go to the lighthouse in the first place here, but we're gonna meet back up with Hannah, check in on Cam and all that. Let them know about what happened to Sunny. And we're going to meet up with Maya and head off to the lighthouse. And Sunny and Maya were actually friends prior to coming to this island. They actually knew each other before this, so Maya's a little broken up about Sunny dying there.
When Kim reached out, I thought this could help us both. Stupid.
So we get a little bit of a slow walk with Maya. She's going to give us some exposition. She is here because she lost her child, ignoring medical professionals' advice and trying to take a holistic approach to healing her sick child.
He spoke to me in the gloom.
She was convinced that
Did you see him?
the doctors were being paid off by pharmaceutical companies to say what they were saying, and that she knew better as the kid's mother, and that her approach was going to be better. Inevitably didn't quite work out for her, ignoring medical advice, and her kid did pass away, which obviously, losing a child
Maya, can you hear me?
broke her up a bit,
Maya, are
and
you
she
there?
tried to deal with it several different ways, focusing on her dancing, was just, you know, kind of how she met Sunny,
Great.
and then, you know, coming with him to this spiritual retreat. She goes off into the gloom thinking she heard her child. So we get separated because you cannot enter the gloom unless you have the corresponding crystal type for that. So since we don't have a green crystal, we couldn't follow her. So we have to try to find our own way to the lighthouse now. I'm gonna grab some fire oil here. That's not going to come in handy until the very end of the game, but we're gonna grab it because that one's fully crafted, and plus it'll ensure that I can craft some of my own because we're going to want to be full on inventory on the fire oil, as well as have enough ingredients to craft a whole bunch more. It's just going to make the final fight so much smoother on us.
It is your fault Andrew died.
So again, our progression is going to be locked by a door with a shape on it, so we have to run around this area collecting all the pieces for that door. Some more there. And now we get to go past another one of our lovely big toads that like to be a bit rude. And there we go. That one's not too bad though. Got that lick in on us as we were getting up and didn't stun us backward, so. We got the piece and got out of there pretty smooth. Now that we've collected all three pieces, we can finally make our way to the lighthouse, which actually features some of my... The entire soundtrack for this game is pretty cool, but I exceptionally enjoy the music throughout the lighthouse and the final fight for the lighthouse area. They really took inspiration from some psychedelic music and some old 70s horror.
Maya, yes, I can hear you. Where are you?
And I see a question there asking if the run's faster on PS5 or PC. It's actually pretty much the same. From what I've seen, the loads are pretty much the same. And I can't discern any like significant performance changes or anything like that between the two. I know at launch there was issues some PC players were having with stuttering, some frame drops here and there, which seem to have been resolved with some patches from everything I've gathered.
Hope we can find another way back.
And PS5 has been no issues since launch as well, so.
Is everything still okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How far are you?
I just passed through the gates a little while back.
Oh, that's good.
Maya,
You're getting closer.
did you come by a statue of... What is that?
Just realized I never did craft all my fire oil. So let's quickly do that. There we go.
Oh, I see you. I see you, Jess. You're almost there. Come up to the lighthouse.
I'm on my way.
So Maya's already made her way up to the top of the lighthouse, and we're gonna go meet her up there, see what's going on here. A giant crystal hanging in the lighthouse. Obviously, the original cult was up to something here. So there's a bunch of reflectors scattered all over the entire area here, but we can't. There's a spot to slot in one of our crystals, which Maya used hers into it, but we can't turn the unit at the top right now. It's kind of seized into place. So we're out to find something to fix it so, you know, we can turn it and actually direct it toward all the reflectors.
Hey, Jess, you there?
Yeah.
So it looks like once we can move the beam, we have to aim it at some prisms around the island.
So you grab the key for the workshop up there,
I found what looks like a workshop.
Probably our best bet for fixing the beam.
and we're gonna pick up some mercury to fix it with. And, you know, mercury's a very safe element to handle,
Good news.
not at all toxic.
Mercury.
So I'm sure Jess is gonna have no issues carrying this around on her person.
What's taking you so long?
Kim?
Okay, maybe I was wrong.
How are you feeling?
What do you mean, Kim? It's Maya. What's going on?
I don't know. I thought I heard Kim. Don't worry about it.
I think I might be.
Why do I have such a headache? Kim? What do you mean? How did you get here?
Jess. Remember how close we used to be?
She's,
You were my best friend.
everything's a little askew. She thinks she hears Kim, and then she thinks she sees Kim when she meets up with Maya here. Freaks out a bit. Maya manages to get her to come to a bit. And now we're gonna finish the rest of the climb to actually put the mercury into the machine.
Jess, please help me.
No, Kim. I'm doing my best.
And that's the second time I've had that happen. I have no idea what causes that. Alright. Put the mercury in, pump it in, and now we'll actually be able to go up to the top and turn the first reflector.
I'm feeling less woozy now.
All right. Can you
It's
rotate
working.
the beacon?
Alright, so we turn that, and redirects the beams to some other locations, but there's a whole bunch more reflectors all over the place, and we have to redirect 2 separate beams all the way back at the lighthouse. So we get to go for a nice little journey all across the area, connecting a bunch of beams.
Jess, about what happened earlier in the gloom.
I totally understand.
Let's just focus on the beacon. Jess, I saw Seva in there. Do you think it's really him?
Maya, don't go in there again if you don't have to.
I did see something before he vanished.
And Maya's now telling us
You're right,
all
though.
about how
We
she
need to
was
focus on this to save Kim.
seeing her kid.
Okay, so according to the notes, you should follow the beam.
Got it.
You should be able
Alright,
to
so
use
up
the
here
lever
we're going
to
to do another thing of stasis, which hopefully will slow the bear and horse down just enough so we can get that in place.
You should be able to rotate the prism, aiming at the next reflector. Now you see it? So the new reflector should have made
Not really necessary, but it does help to slow them down just so we can hopefully move that without getting hit. It is definitely possible to do it without that, though. Alright, so we redirected the beam to this one, and we're basically just following the beam around. Every time we redirect it to another location, we have to go and direct it from that one. Quickly run to the back room here, because 2 of the side areas are locked behind a door, so we need that key for those. Grab ourselves some more oil for later on in the game. So Maya's gonna
Are you there? I need to tell you something.
I'm here.
tell us she's struggling with what happened to her child,
Made peace with what I did to save her.
I'm not sure I can fully understand,
which is
but
also
I
going to
know it
hint
must
to
have been
us
awful.
that she might make some very poor decisions
What do you mean?
regarding that coming up here.
So much, Jess.
What do you mean you're gonna get him back?
She's convinced now that she's going to get her dead child back somehow with the gloom. And when we press her on it, she just tells us to ignore it and just focus on directing the beams. So there's a deer, the screechy guy there, and also Spitty. Ooh, knocked my health down a little bit there. Alright, so we're gonna get introduced to some Mantiphores here with this beam. I wasn't quite in position. If you manage to get on their spawn locations, you can spawn trap each cloud. I was too high on that. Half got that one.
I think I got him all.
Okay then. That was pretty decent though. The groups didn't get too spread out, which is, you know, a little bit RNG as to how fast they're going to spread out and how wide. Rude. Those glowy attacks. There's nothing you can do about them. You just have to stand there and wait. Alright. So we'll do a little heal here because we got a nice, convenient ginger pickup. I'm full on inventory for heals, by the way. Just tend to save most of that stuff for later parts of the game.
Great. You did it.
What now?
So most heals I will do are only going to be when I can replenish my inventory. So there's a deer and a ram here. You can just slip past them. We got a free, fully crafted witch stick here. So I'll grab that. And now we'll direct this to the second side. And make our way through the second side. Here as well, we're going to get introduced to another enemy. We don't encounter these guys too much. And usually not too much of a problem here. Yeah, we can just slip right by. Every now and then, the little puddle from when he dives into the ground will have a hitbox that's kind of in the way, and then it'll resurface once you get stunned by that. Slow you down and make you take a wider path, but that went nice and smooth. Yeah. And occasionally coming out, the deer will follow us down to this crystal. Thankfully, he didn't notice us. So we were able to just redirect that one in peace. We are going to experience that enemy type right away here again, and we're actually going to fight it. Because we have to clear the enemies out of our way here to deal with this crystal. And unfortunately, they can spread out and smack us in the back a whole bunch here. And also give us glowing attacks where I can't attack. So Usually this doesn't go too bad, but every now and then they can slow you down significantly or actually get your either your mind stat or your actual physical health stat dangerously low. But that one went pretty damn smooth. Got a couple smacks in the back of the head, but we're not concerned about that. Grab ourselves another key. Alright, so here we're going to quickly switch to Witch Stick and... Nope, not Crystallize, Repel. Take the ladder pack because it's a little faster outside. A bit straighter of a path here. And hopefully we don't get too bad of RNG with how much these groups are going to spread out on us. That wasn't too bad. And get the last one in place. And now we've got Maya, who's completely succumbed now to the gloom. So we're gonna deal with her now. Okay, she's now convinced that she's getting her child back.
Maybe the reflectors will do something.
And that the gloom is her friend in doing that.
Where is my baby? You're hiding him from me.
There we go. Nice little spawn trap on another group of Mantiphores there.
You won't feel bad anymore. I promise you.
As I had mentioned earlier, if you know where they're going to spawn and you're able to get the beam in position fast enough, you can get the entire group before they actually spread out. Every now and then you get bad RNG where the middle group spawns first though, so it's a little harder in that instance, but thankfully this time they went the way we wanted. That attack's so bad. It's like near impossible to dodge. Unless you're not next to her. Alright, well we got nice RNG here. Proper pathing on both sides. There you go. The top groups, however, because they can kind of hide behind the roof and that, can sometimes be a little irritating. Trying to get them as they circle out. Thankfully, this second spawn just comes straight at ya. Alright, so we still need one more hit with the Witch Stick to get enough spirit back. I also made a mistake here. Okay. We're tanking a bunch of hits there.
Don't understand. I will show you.
Almost forgot to grab some oil on my way back down here, so had to detour slightly there. Okay, Maya. Where'd you go? Oh, you're still there. I thought she went past.
I will show you.
Alright, not too bad. Considering I forgot a couple things to grab there and that, not too bad. So, that's Maya. She embraces one of the floating flowers as her child, and it pierces her right through the chest and finishes her off after all that. So, that's now 2 people from the group dead, with only Jess around, I might add. But now we have her green crystal and can use her ability as well.
I assume the lore of this island is that it is very far off. It's like in the middle of the ocean somewhere.
Yeah, it's not really well hinted at where exactly this is. You would assume somewhere Pacific Northwest, given the environment and you know, the background of the devs. But yeah, there's not too much. They come here in a very small boat, so it can't be too far off coast.
So that's the confusing part, because with all the things you just did with that lighthouse, I would assume somebody somewhere is freaking out.
You would think. It's got to be far enough from the coast that they couldn't really see that, but close enough that you don't need too much of a seafaring boat to get to it. But
I meant to ask you, are you and Tyler?
It's also hinted through some of the documents that the gloom kind of exists everywhere at all times, and just, you know, needs ways to manifest over into our visual, physical realm.
Can't you see I'm trying to think? What do you want?
So this isn't something that's fully isolated to the island. Just only people that have been doing things on the island have done things to, you know, really bring forth the gloom.
Don't worry about it.
It's just been so crazy recently.
Yes.
See if you can find the prison.
And also the crystals that are holding all their powers and that have been mined here, so that's definitely helped with
You were saying there's a lot of
activities occurring on this island to cause all this to go down. But here we're sneaking into Tyler's because we need his prism. Hannah's gonna try to help us. We're gonna go to the old commune from the old group in the 70s to retrieve his grandfather's mask to hopefully perform a bigger ritual to fix all this.
Jess, what are you
Tyler, of course, is egotistical, paranoid, and
Jess, we should get going. Come with me.
very uneasy about us.
Did you get the prism?
Oh, I'm not sprinting.
He's gonna be pissed. What now? We have to get the mask. It's at the old commune.
Yes, this is sprinting, by the way.
What's that?
This is just a sprint speed.
In the 70s, they lived in a commune.
Which is why I had mentioned earlier that it's rather unfortunate that we can't abuse the little bit of a movement speed buff we get from panic attacks a bit more.
At first, he was just a teacher, but then we just kind of clicked. He made me feel whole again.
We're just gonna wait for Hannah to go through here, give us a bit of dialogue for progression.
Is my prism doing this? Jess, I can't leave. Is there another way? It's called the Spirit Trail. Tyler said he came up this way to get the mask, but some creature drove him back.
Some creature?
Listen on the radio. I'll let you know when I
That sounds promising. Sure, that's nothing to be concerned about.
With all the other creatures I've seen, I'm sure it's fine.
So we'll get a little swipe at us from the horse there. Easily dodged. retreading some old areas from the game here. So we don't actually need to collect anything. We've already unlocked that door. We're now going to take a different path.
Yeah. What's up?
I've just been thinking about Tyler and me. Do you think Tyler was just using me? That he never cared about me?
I think Tyler's been using everybody. I can't say how much he cared, but you've definitely been very convenient for him.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah, and we got the sound glitch here. There's normally some dialogue of Tyler's when we're in the red gloom here, but every now and then, I don't know why, but it glitches out and just does not happen.
All right, Hannah, I'm here at the Spirit Trail.
Be careful. It might be extra thick there.
Why is there such
So we go
static?
on this nice spooky trail. There's a figure there. Oh my goodness.
Shouldn't leave Hannah.
Although this is actually absolutely beautiful. I love forest. Deep old growth forest like this. It's so gorgeous.
Look at this place.
Alright, so
My favorite part is the ominous statues.
here we get the treasure. We're gonna just turn the camera at it, which will trigger the cinematic a little early. So this is the creature that chased him back. We're gonna dodge toward the door so that it hopefully gives us a nice break there, and stand right in front of here. Hopefully get
Thing is invincible.
a favorable attack pattern. Not really, but good enough. So we hope to get the two-handed attack first, so that way it can just smack us through the door as it breaks the last piece of crystal there. Unfortunately, when it goes for the single-handed ones, it'll do a couple swipes that don't break anything and just do damage on you first, which is what we got there. So, not a big deal unless you're low on health, but slightly slower and more annoying. All in all, that's pretty much how you want that to go, though. It's just get it to break those crystals as fast as possible so you can get through.
We made it. I'm glad you're okay. Jess, I feel so stuck with Tyler. What should I do?
Just walk away.
You know what? I think I'll do just that. You ready to go find the mask?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So it gives Hannah some relationship advice on how to deal with Tyler.
Prism, and we're getting the mask. And you think we can help Kim that way?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the prismic energy.
And
that
we're
has
now
her
at the
in
old
it.
commune.
With the mask, I think I can rechannel that energy.
If you'd said that a few days ago, I'd say you were insane.
This is it. The commune.
Holy fuck.
So we're gonna
Massive.
take in the view with Hannah,
You see the large dome over there? That's where we're going. The way down.
aka just wait for the dialogue to stop so we can open the door.
Greenhouse.
What did they grow?
I think food mostly. Pretty sure they grew psychedelics too.
So there's a bunch of symbols here. Hannah's going to give us a note in a little bit that tells us a little bit of a code to make something based on those symbols, but since, of course, you know, this is a speedrun, we already know what we need. We're just going to run through here and grab everything we want.
Hey, Hannah?
So
There's
we
no way
need
through here either, but I found a key.
one of these.
Grab it. I think I might have found a way to remove the plants. Still at the same spot.
Need one of this one. We need two more, but we're going to come back and grab those ones.
What did you find out?
Those glowing plants, they grow back as soon as you cut them. But you see the irrigation system right behind me? I think pouring the right mixture in will kill the plants.
Hannah's
Right
kind of
mixture?
figured out
Well, do you know
that
what
we
it
need
is?
some kind of
This
mixture.
note explains it.
She gives us a
I'm not
note.
Sure I understand it. Can you take a look at it?
But it's a bunch of alchemic
It's
symbols and
pretty
stuff.
Cryptic, but I do think I saw
But it kind of
something
tells us
along
which one goes with which and what order to combine them in.
I'm glad it makes sense to
So.
you. I'll let you in.
We're going to finish collecting everything, but there is a valve missing on that irrigation system too, so we're going to take a little detour up through the farmstead on the other side here to grab that valve. And then we'll grab the last two plants that we need and create the chemicals. There we go. Another deer and a bear, but those guys are no concern. We're gonna get a bunch popping out of stalls here, but we're just gonna go nice and wide. And it's actually gonna get in my way. Generally not too much of a concern, but you know, the cultists need to show off for GDQ. That still wasn't a big issue, but... Alright, so now that we're back, I'm going to forget that I need to collect this one. Alright, grab that one. And this one. Those are our last 2 plants we need. And now we put together a glowing crystal and a toxic odor.
This better work.
That's how I remember them, as to which ones go with which first, because it will fail if you do the wrong ones. Turn on the irrigation system now that everything's together.
Jess, the plants are dissolving. It worked. The path is clear now.
Hannah,
Do a quick
you've
little
been
heal.
around for a while. I was wondering, how did Kim get involved in all of this?
Same as everyone.
And now we can make it down to the main compound.
And he used that to get inside her head.
Did he do that to a lot of people?
He's pretty good at it. There's probably another 50 or 100 people who think he's amazing. He didn't invite them all to the retreat, though. That's only for the inner circle. Those who were truly ready.
Truly ready to be taken advantage of, more like. Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Now, another little bit of dialogue to wait on
Perfect.
before we can interact with this door.
I guess you'll have to see if you can find another way.
I'll be fine, Hannah.
Okay, let's both try to make our way to the large dome at the end.
Sounds good.
Good luck.
All right. And again, normally we get a bit of dialogue out of Tyler here, talking about how easy it is to take advantage of people and stuff, but again, if it glitches in the first place, it's completely out. So here we've got a little bit of a, I would want to call it a puzzle, but there's nothing to hint. You just kind of have to guess the correct way through. If you do fail it, like on a first playthrough, like it just is a longer path through some enemies that you need to take it. The incorrect pathways will collapse and you'll fall down. And you just have to go through the building instead. Inside.
Alright, I'm on my way.
And excuse you, can we not show off for GDQ? That is not where you're... I have never seen that ram go out that door. I've had to do a couple uncharacteristic things there. That's the first time I've seen it go out the door, though. Normally, it's just standing there and it takes a swing directly at us, and we just dodge past it to go for the door. Alright, so we need to collect 6 different orbs here. There's some hints scattered through the environment as to the order of them. And there you go, 4 orange. But, we know them all, so we're just gonna grab them all and put them in the door. And it's gonna unlock the main building once we get all of them. Here we get a little bit of that speed boost I was talking about. A short little panic attack.
Jess,
so beneficial.
I'm glad you're here. The gloom, it was horrible.
You gonna be okay, Hannah?
Another little talk with Hannah here.
What's the gloom like for you?
Let's not talk about
And we're
it.
going to dismiss her questions
let's not
because,
waste
you
our
know,
energy.
it's faster.
Anyways, we still have to find a way to get the mask. It should be through the door behind me. I just can't get it to budge.
I'll figure
Hannah's
it out.
so done with this.
You just rest.
She's going to let us,
Okay, but at least take my
collect the
prism.
rest of the
We'll need to
orbs.
access the other side of the commune.
and she's going to give us her crystal, as I overspam there. So now we can go into the indigo side. How are we on health? Yeah, we're fine. So we have a nice little emergency heal just off to our left there if really needed in a run, but we're fine today. We're going to quickly queue up Crystallize and our Fire Lash. And it's going to come up for some fights here. But first we got 2 more orbs to collect, so going to go in here. Again, we'll get a little bit of a panic attack, which hopefully they were right outside the door waiting on us. That was unfortunate. So that's what I mean. The panic attack, you get a bit of a speed boost, but it does make you one-hit kill to certain types of attacks. If they weren't waiting for us right outside the door, that would have been perfectly fine, but got a little bit of bad luck with all 3 of them pretty much being directly in my path. Thankfully got a generous checkpoint where we only have to recollect the 1 orb here. See, look at that. This time we come out, they're nowhere to be seen.
Oh my god. Those are burnt bodies.
So yeah, that was just some very unfortunate luck. I've never had them quite that bad in my way. I've had a couple times where they've been in my way, but... Jess, no. Yeah. So now we have all 6 orbs. So we make it back to the main door. And we have to put them in order. So I hope you're paying attention to everything scrawled on the walls telling you which number's which. I'm just kidding. We already know it. We've got a red, green, indigo, and with the order I pick them up, these ones are nicely in order at the end. Orange, yellow, and blue.
This place. This is the main ritual space for the group that used to be here. You can almost feel the prismic energy.
There must have been a lot of them.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe 100, maybe more.
And here we see Tyler's grandfather's body wearing the mask. And guess what? He kind of comes to and is still here, trapped, kind of possessed by gloom. So this is the original cult leader. Can we not grab me? Thank you. Sir, don't be rude. Alright, not too bad. That's why we use the Fire Lash there. It does increase damage against physical enemies, so makes that fight pretty quick on the lowest difficulty. Quick little heal here. And here we kind of just hope that this strat works. It's really nice when it does. I mean, it's not horrible when it doesn't, but it can be up to a full minute slower. So, we're gonna go here. Crystallize, which will hopefully keep these 3 stunned long enough to push this. First one's usually not too bad on us. Now we're gonna go nice and wide on this side, dodge through that, turn around, and this guy went off to the side and he's gonna smack us. Yeah, here we go. So unfortunately this isn't quite working out. One of them went a little wide on us, so. Oh, nice. The crystal thankfully got rid of all 3, so second attempt on this is gonna go smooth. All right, back to Crystallize for the 3rd. I'm just gonna take a nice clean path. And we should be okay here. Yep, 3rd one's good. That horse came out of stun though right at the last second. Started to charge toward me, but we're good.
Get going. We have everything we need.
So we knocked down those 3. One of the cinematics we missed there, Tyler came and followed us here. He tries to, you know, reason with his deranged grandfather that's been here for like 50 years, possessed by gloom.
Sorry. I just want to get out of this place.
He's like, I'm your grandson. And
Save the others.
his grandfather just mouths him off and kills him.
Alive, Hannah. Let's just focus on Kim and get out of this place.
She'll be fine. It's almost over.
So now it's just Hannah, us, and Kim, who's still back at the camp recovering. Because everyone else is, met some unfavorable fates.
Why am I being difficult? I'm not being difficult.
So we're gonna quickly queue up Witch Stick here. Which I used. I'm short on a Witch Stick, which isn't a big deal. We don't generally need too much Witch Stick in the final fight, but normally I do have 3.
Stop psyching yourself out, Hannah. You have to trust the process. You have to trust him.
Alright. We may as well just grab the heal since it's here. Again, one last door that we need all the pieces from. I didn't get a good drop there. But there's 2 pieces. We got a giant toad here. Well, the remains of a toad. That can't be defeated, so we're just going to run around it to collect our pieces. So some of the lore with the toad is they have a bunch of spots in their back where they like spawn other creatures. And once they've spawned a whole bunch of them and basically, you know, had their body torn to shreds by it, this is kind of what their remains ends up looking like, is just this withered, almost skeleton.
Why did I trust him?
Alright.
Feel good.
So our last door. Got it again. A little bit of a panic attack. Unfortunately, there was a recent update that, you know, to make it more favorable for casual players to explore, they increased the rate at which she recovers mind. But for the sake of the speedrun, it's a little unfortunate because we used to be able to get another panic attack on the way back here for, you know, like half a second of time saved. It's not a big deal. Doesn't really hurt the run, but we won't get that anymore because Jess recovers mind stat a little too fast. Alright, so we're gonna just quickly grab spirit caps. So the spirit cap, ginger, and lavender, took me a moment to figure that out, that you collect at the beginning here. After the tutorial part, they will spawn here once more, but once you collect them, they're gone. So you'll have noticed that every time I fast traveled back here, the spirit cap was sitting there and I just ignored it. That's because I save it for the final fight. Which hopefully we'll get some good RNG on, because
Jess, are you
ideally
sure
I want Sunny's
once we start, there's no turning back.
ability first. We're going to lose all of our abilities right away here.
Right. Good. I'm ready
Because
too.
we're going to try to do this ritual. So all the crystals are going to go into the mask here. But Hannah's going to decide that instead of just trying to close the gloom, she wants all of her friends back because she needs the validation. They're the only people who's ever been really nice to her in her life, unfortunately. So she's going to try to bring them all back, even though, you know, they're dead and possessed by gloom. So Hannah doesn't really become possessed by gloom, she just makes some very poor decisions.
We're always self-serving, Jess. But you won't escape. Jess! You're polluting this place with your ignorance. I will eat your soul, Chant.
Alright, so we're gonna try for a little bit of speed tech here. Like I said, there's not a lot in the run other than just decent routing and movement. But here we can hopefully come out and dodge. With good timing, you can avoid getting shoved back by the screen there. Didn't quite get it though. Again, it's not something that makes a huge difference. It's like maybe a 1 second time save, but still try to go for it.
It's hard to be a good parent. I'm doing my best.
So again, this is very reminiscent of the intro of the game with the original Cult. In fact, we're retreading some of the same areas that we ran through during that little run right at the start.
Jess.
Alright, so got just one little bit more of a run. Past all these enemies. And this is where, had we watched the opening cinematic, you would have seen this is where the ritual was taking place at the beginning of the game. We are to that ritual location, and Hannah is about to just fully succumb to the gloom to try and get her friends back. And yes, we get Sunny first. All right, so Sunny's forward. I'm just going to throw a couple of those at him. And yeah. There we go. Now we get Sunny's ability. So the first time we smack away each head, we will get their ability back. So we want Sunny's first, just because Sunny's is a good high damage one. Gonna really help. How many more hits do you need? There we go. Alright, and yeah, that should be it for that. There we go. And that's why we want Sunny's. Gives us a nice little attack to get through there. Going a little slow, but we're getting through the heads. Unfortunately, because we're very much melee orientated, we can't get too many attacks when the heads are too high, but one should mostly always be forward. Alright, now we're on the final. So here, this can just be a little bit of a challenge, because Angie will continuously try to come at us, and Jess will... No, don't you dare, Angie. I'm not redoing this fight. Oh no, that's not good. That's actually very bad. Yeah, that's... I couldn't gain enough distance on her, so I got into a panic attack and I just couldn't get enough distance to get more mind back there. Fortunately, that sets us all the way back to the beginning of the fight. So that was unfortunate. Let's try to get a cleaner fight then. I'm short of lavender, that's why. I must have consumed lavender at accident somewhere. I should have 2 lavender coming into this fight. I only have 1. Alright. That's okay, though. I'll just powerhouse through the remainder of the fight. Still need to get Maya. So 1 more phase here, and then we should be back to the final bit there. All right. So we're just gonna chill here for a bit, let our mind get all the way up. Should only be a couple more hits here. And there we go. Time's gonna come up now. Fortunately, there's not a lot of warning there between finishing the phase and where time's coming, but it's hard to tell exactly when you're finishing that last head, but there we go. So once you finish off the last head, you get this little cinematic. This plays out. The game does have multiple endings. This always plays out the same. You meet up with Kim again. She's gonna console Jess. Jess is gonna come to terms with, you know, the fact that their dismissive attitude and that toward Angie is kind of what got her killed. And then we get the ending, which we're gonna get the body ending because, you know, that's the ending that we get from choosing nothing but body options throughout the entire run and never picking up any documents. But there are 3 different endings, so this part will be different depending on which ending you get. But yeah, that's the Chant. It's a fun little game. Highly recommend it, both casually and, like I said, it's a great little introductory speedrun, or if you're just looking for a nice, easy run to pick up on the side. We could always use more runners. Finally got someone else on the board with me, but nice cozy little run to pick up.
And I like the mechanics of this actually look pretty fun. Like I've seen some other survival horrors and I'm just like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, a generic kind of survival horror thing, and this one looked really fun. Like, the mechanics looked cool, the story looked interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is. It keeps you well engaged. It's a nice little melee heavy, but it's, when you think, like, if you just tell someone that it's a very melee heavy combat system, you're gonna think like, oh yeah, you're gonna go around swinging like a freaking hammer or knives or something, right? But no, it's a nice little unique twist on the idea of a melee-based, survival horror combat system. So it's very fun. Like I said, it can be a little clunky and cumbersome to get used to, but once you get a hang of it, like it performs perfectly well. Like, it has zero issues with the way it performs. So it's a matter of just getting used to what the system is and how each of the items can be used the most efficiently, because as I mentioned, the fire lash is going to be better for physical enemies. The witch stick is going to give you some spirit stat back when you're fighting in gloom, things like that. So like, you can leverage your different types of attacks to your benefit to make it more efficient. And once you get a hang of that, it is 100% serviceable. It does exactly what it needs to do. And I saw a comment on my shirt. Yes, it's a cat parody of that album from Ministry.
I actually didn't even notice that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a. I think they're from Italy. It's a little site. They're kind of like Blackcraft, but they do a bunch of like metal and goth band like parodies of things, but it's all cat themed. And if you ever stop by my channel or see my emotes, I am a huge cat lover, so cats are always a theme in my channel. And speaking of which, we got Stray next, don't we?
Oh, that you took it right out of my mouth. Do you want to host the rest of this?
I'll give you the segue right there on my own. We got Stray next. I'm also a Stray runner, so that's just all the more special for me that I get to lead into Stray, because that's one of my runs. I'll be doing commentary for ARMS for AGDQ for the Stray run there, but we got a Stray run right now as well. So hell yeah.
Hell yeah. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more Stray. Thank you again so much for the run. I really enjoyed this run. It was great.
Thanks for having me.